As a little boy growing up in this little village, I usually followed my father to the farm, and whenever I got tired before everyone, my dad would always tell me, "You are a man, and you'll grow up to feed a family someday." Back at home, I would help my mom with her little business, and whenever I showed a sign of laziness, my sweet mom would always tell me, "You will feed a family when you grow up." As a boy, a guy, and a man, there seems to be just one thing society expects of me: to be successful. While society expects just one thing from men, there are a million things a woman must worry about. For example, females in the culture where I grew up are expected to be humble, respectful, careful, beautiful all the time, and of course, remain young forever. The opposite seems to be the case for boys and men. I was expected to be tough. They call it strong. As a boy, it was a thing of pride if I could stand up and disrespect someone older than me, especially if she was a woman. That shows I am becoming a man, you know. I didn't have to be that careful to not walk alone, to not go out at night, or anything of such nature. Nobody ever made me feel that I am not beautiful enough, and nobody ever objectified me. Nobody ever judges me for the clothes I wear, and yes, nobody ever catcalls me.
Damn, baby, I know you want some of this action right here. You just can't tell me straight up. Come on. Damn, apart from being sexy, what do you girls do for a living?
Women in my culture are raised to know how to please men, how to please their in-laws, how to take care of kids. How to make everyone approve of them. They expected to live for the world and make sacrifices for everyone else, while I was expected to live for myself and myself alone, as long as I make some money. Now, if you are a man watching this video, you're likely to say, life is difficult for everyone. And you're right. Life is difficult for everyone, and maybe I'll talk about difficulties men face later on this channel, but for today, permit me to talk about why women face so many challenges in our world.
But do you know there is never a time in the life of a male that he has to worry about whether or not an article of his clothing is accidentally going to drop into the toilet?
In the year 1924, the Austrian neurologist Sigmund Freud published an essay titled "The Dissolution of the Oedipus Complex," in which he wrote the statement, "Anatomy is destiny," which was meant to mean that your sex determines your personality. To me, the number one reason for many of the difficulties women face in our world today is the fact that the average man is physically stronger than the average woman. According to the National Library of Medicine, women are approximately 52% as strong as men in the upper body and 66% as strong as the men in the lower body. This BBC publication is easier to understand because most things in the history of our species and even today are being determined by how strong two opposing people are. The weaker person will always be a victim. Think about this. 75% of victims of domestic violence are women. 91% of rape victims are women. Each year, 15 million girls are married before the age of 18. Globally, around 137 women are killed by their partner or a family member every day. About 74% of the victims of non-family child abduction are girls. We can go on, but you get the point. Now, the question is, why women? And the answer is anatomy. Because men are physically stronger than women, women easily find themselves at the receiving end of many ugly things in our world. Daphne Fairbairn, an emeritus professor of biology at the University of California, said men abuse women because they can. That's the deal with being strong. In this 2014 publication published in Psychology Today, Dr. Noam Spencer, a psychology professor, cited evolutionary psychology as the reason why men assault women. Spencer said, men tend to be physically stronger by genetic design. Therefore, they become predators because they can. Well, I'm sorry I'm not making this video to tell you that men are evil, as you can tell me I'm one of them. It's just that you cannot mention how a fish is cooked without mentioning the water, fire, and the cooking pot. If you are physically weaker than the other person in life's encounters, there are a million things the other person can do to you, including calling you an inferior human. For example, the Greek philosopher Aristotle believed women were inferior to men. In his work, Politics, Aristotle states as regards the sexes, the male is by nature superior and the female inferior, the male ruler and the female subject. Aristotle also believed that women are more mischievous, less hopeful, more false of speech, more deceptive, etc. In fact, Aristotle claimed that men have more teeth than women, even though that was not correct. Now, here's the thing. The reason why Aristotle and other men like him could say whatever they wished about women was that girls couldn't wait for them in a corner and beat them up. If women are stronger than men, then some 17-year-old girls would have waited for Aristotle in the corner and gotten rid of some of his teeth. Well, let's look at another example.
Kind of like a disturbing feeling because I don't feel safe and I don't feel comfortable.
Every single woman in our world experiences catcalling at one point or the other. But why do men catcall women? Well, they know she can't beat them up. If a woman is physically stronger than a man, then some men will get beaten up, and after a few men are beaten up, others will be afraid to harass women.
Downright afraid to hit her. Since the match has already started, buddy, this is not the time to second-guess your decisions.
Another thing to consider is height. All across the globe, men are on the average about 7% taller than women. This matters in life's encounters, but there is something more important to talk about, so I won't waste your time on that. Insider.com published this study in January of 2021. For their study, Insider.com created a TikTok account, set the age at 14, and waited to see how long it would take for a video featuring plastic surgery to appear on the For You page. 8 minutes. It took only 480 seconds for the TikTok algorithm to decide that a 14-year-old girl needs a video of plastic surgery. See, I am not a woman, and I'll probably never understand how much pressure the world subjects women to. But looking at the women's world from the window of my living room, what I'm seeing is too awful. For example, as a man, I only look at the mirror about 2 times a month, but a woman has to look at the mirror every hour of the day to be sure she's beautiful. I really don't think before I take whatever clothes I want to wear, because I'm sure nobody would judge me for what I wear. Nobody expects me to have a perfect body, a perfect face, or remain young forever. In fact, nobody expects anything from me. The only thing society expects from me is to be successful. If I can figure out how to make some money, even if I'm ugly, nobody would disrespect me.
Now, there are some features that ugly men can have that won't make them so ugly anymore. A good, high-paying, 6-figure job.
Nothing seems to solve women's problems so easily. We judge every single thing about their lives and put so much pressure on them. They must have perfect legs, perfect breasts, even perfect noses.
So I have always wanted to get a nose job because I have a big Italian nose and I've always wanted a smaller nose. But, you know, prices are expensive to get, you know, cosmetic surgery or whatever, and I have kids.
A woman contributor at Quora wrote, "I hate it, have to remain youthful and pretty, or men begin to have a lingering eye." Another woman on Medium wrote, "I am told every day that I need to change something about my body or my face to be happy, to be accepted, and to be loved." There are trillion-dollar industries created just to make women feel bad about their bodies. Women must have a perfect weight, perfect eyes, and even a perfect voice. For example, historical figures like Margaret Thatcher allegedly had to go through professional coaching to have a masculine voice because of so much pressure about their look women accounted for 92% of all cosmetic surgery. UK women alone spend £10 billion on beauty products each year. And yes, women are almost twice as likely to be depressed. But why not? If everybody expects you to look like the heavily edited pictures on magazine covers, why wouldn't you be depressed? I will have to round off this video without talking about menstrual cramps, pregnancy, raising kids, the pay gap between men and women, or even the fact that women are expected to speak less while in a group with men. As if to say, keep your mouth shut. Smart humans are talking.
Apparently, since I became a female, I have become stupid.
While as a man, I may not fully understand everything women have to endure in this world of men, I'll appreciate it if women watching this video can drop comments to share their thoughts. In a 2018 book, The Surface Breaks, Louise O'Neill wrote, "We expect so little from our boys, don't we? I think the world will be a better place if, like men, only a few things are expected of women, not a million things." Now, there's one more thing I'm eager to share with you, and that's about the cunning ways society makes you unhappy, which is why I made the video on your screen now. If you really want to be happy, you'll have to learn how to say no to society, and that's what the video on your screen will help you do. Click the video on your screen and see you inside. Thanks for watching.